Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today I am doing a sketchbook haul, a planner haul. This is the Midori Hibino. This is 768 pages of, according to Jet Pens, 52 GSM Tomoe River. Because this is 2024, this is the successor by Sanzen. This is A6 size. It has one bookmark. We're gonna go through it because I just finished it. And I spent all year filling this guy. Are you ready? It has beautiful brown end papers. I think the end papers look really, really nice with this light blue. This light blue is advertised as blue-green. And this is called a diary. So in theory, you could treat this as a journal, a sketchbook, a diary, notes, to-do lists. You could really do anything on this. You know, this could be a swatch book if you wanted to keep it that way. Your sort of imagination is the limit there. And some of this is metallic, so I'm gonna kind of rotate it around. I don't know if you can pick up on that. Some of it's a little bit more subtle than others. Here I am honoring the Lunar New Year, 2024, Year of the Dragon, 2025, Year of the Snake. This is watercolor. I'm not gonna remember every medium I used. This is a future log. I sort of treated this as more of a summary log. So at the end of the month, I would write down what I did. And everything in this light brown are the illustrations that I put within this sketchbook, and that's what I'm going to be referring to it as. And then if there's anything additional, I did overlapping drawing challenges with other sketchbooks. So in total, there were 78 additional illustrations. 366 I did in this book, for a grand total of 444 total illustrations I did this year. And I did 83 YouTube videos, and that includes the one today. So, ta-da, this is my future in the past. All right, 2023, Year of the Rabbit. These were my goals. Again, this is Pilot Pen. I killed all my gold pens. And then these are the monthly. So this is what I drew within here. And then I kind of made notes as if I was working on another overlapping project, sort of in this. I treated this as a tiny notes section, and then the blue are the videos. So I did colored pencil birds, and then I tried to color match flowers. Not always a success. I love the resplendent Quetzal. It has really cool tail feathers. It's a really unique challenge to try and include things like that. This is ink. This is the ring isograph. So I didn't include these in my count because these are more like drawings. They're kind of tiny. I don't know. It's where you draw the line. I mean, I doodled all year long on the back of receipts and notes too. So it's, you know, it kind of is what it is. I invent my own plants. Bachelor buttons. I love them. Okay. But it needed color. This sort of monthly thing, it is very, very tiny. It's minuscule, so I was only able to make a couple notes. If you need something bigger, the A6 might be too small for these spreads. You'll have to figure out how to do that. Maybe you make notes in reference to a different bullet journal or something if it's not enough space. As you can see, plodding along, lots of Sunday uploads for my YouTube videos. I love this bird, isn't it pretty? The purple-breasted Stinga. Yeah, okay. If I can read my own handwriting. And then here's where I made a sketchbook and did an additional 26 ink drawings. This is a very heavy ink year. When you look at my empties of 2024 video, I used up a ton of pens, a lot of pens. I love blackbirds. You can really add fun colors to them. September, you can see I was sort of gearing up here for the explosion that was October. And again, this is ivory paper, so when you go to sort of do drawings where they're really, really pale and light, you might have to include context and background to really make them pop. I didn't do that. Again, these are just little sidebird profile drawings to stick in here for fun, for color. Let me get back to the regularly scheduled program. Again, he has a weird tail, and it's kind of hard to denote that with how I angled this, but again, it's drawer's choice. So creative licensing, I choose. And here's December, including the video today. So ta-da, these are my monthly spreads. Lots and lots of pretty birds. Again, I didn't count those. I didn't count this either. This is for 2025, and I referenced my new planner. I made one out of garden catalogs. So this is all ink. This is Ferris wheel press with a Pilot pen. And this is my snake. Okay, so in the beginning, when I purchased this book, it was primarily to be drawings on this side and then publication notes for a book I wanted to work on. The book did not take off. My life got crazy on my end, on the other side of the camera. So what was intended was for, once I started getting into the drawings for the book that was supposed to be on the side, this was going to become doodles and this was just going to be publication notes. But as I ran out of time, and I think this is Neocolor 2 with some watercolor overlay that's very thick. As I ran out of time, humpback whale, I do have some notes for what the animals are, really, really small. When you start out the year, you think you're going to memorize everything you do, and I just don't have time for that. I don't have time. So I definitely forgot all the things I drew. And this is colored pencil with ink. Yeah, lots and lots of ink. I love ink. I love ink on the Tomoe River. That is my preferred medium on this really smooth paper. And again, that's a choice. Though colored pencil can be vibrant. If you're into the Scarlet Ibis, I am. Okay. Yeah. So, still in January. This is a zebra up close. The eyeball. I really like eyes. Eyes are fascinating. Yep, tiger. Enjoying the sunshine. I like monochromatic. This is watercolor pencil. This is the Caran d'Ache Museum ones. I don't think this one is the most light, fast color, but it's definitely vibrant and striking. Yeah, lots of confetti. If you can see this up close, there's different color dots in here too, so just for fun. The Pentel Sign Pen. This is a very warm yellow. Later on, I figure out in this book that this is water soluble and you can do weird things with it. So I do weird things with it. This is the Echleosaurus. I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but I do love dinosaurs. Pilot pen. Again, the pink is super vibrant. I really, really love it. It's probably one of my brightest pens. However, the ghosting and the bleeding is significant. So if you're to use this, just keep that in mind. One-sided illustrations are best for a lot of the Pilot pens. Colored pencil polar bear. Again, like, it's kind of hard to see. And I did some that are they just aren't going to pick up on the camera. Portrait colored pencil. I love portraits. Here's a raptor of some sort with a purple pen. Purple. Another portrait. Lots of ink. Here's where I started using the isograph. I wanted to see how long it took me to run out of one full thing of ink once I filled it up. There's a little capsule in the isographs. You don't have to buy cartridges like some of the other technical pens. This is one you just fill up. And so I make a note of when I run out. So a bear with blackberries. Indigo. I really, really love indigo. I can't get past it. It's one of my favorite blues. This is a Jaguarundi. Not native to where I live. Pilot pen. Yeah. Stylized portrait. Cat stretching with small botanicals. This is isograph. The rot ring. And lots of little swirls and stuff. This is a bat-eared fox. Again, I never would have memorized this if I didn't make a little tiny note. There's no way. There's just no way. This is Tombow for sure. And some of these I layer other things, some of these I don't. This is a lot of Pilot pen and the rot ring. And this is an Egyptian wolf. Colored pencil. This is two. So this is the Polychromos, and this is the Caran d'Ache Luminance. This is the Malachite Green. It's a convenience color I purchased. I absolutely love it. And I'm never giving it up. No one's asking me to. This is an African Civet. And some of these I do multiple times, some of them I don't. Working on angles, working on expressions, negative space. Again, kind of composition, how you do layout, how you position things. Flamingo and little moths and bugs and stuff. I love birds. Yeah, she's pouting. That was my cat. Sorry about that. She's on the window above me. This is a Japanese flying squirrel, and if you can tell by the face, you can tell by the face. I can't memorize these. There's no way. This is a couple different pens. Here's a portrait. Again, this is colored pencil. Blending, so much fun. It's so much fun. This is the only picture in here where I used, it's ink, but then I did highlighter. I have a bunch of highlighters that are like 20 years old. This is jellyfish. Yeah. I was in a mood and I was like, can I draw with highlighter? Maybe a little, kind of, not really. I don't know. It's subjective. And the wrought ring ink is definitely raised. It's texturized. It's waterproof. But this has a little bit of heft and give to it, and it's from all the different product on the page. A Coty Tombow pen. Portrait Tombow pen. So some of these are like half an hour's, some of these are 3 hours. This is a chestnut-eared Arikari, which I believe is in the toucan family. So this is ink with colored pencil. Yeah, a lot of ink. So the Uniball Signo Gold, if you're curious about inks and layering, it's a high release pen, and I run out of them every year. Like, I burn through them so fast because of the high release, but you can really layer them on other products. So this was Lunar New Year of the dragon, and I decided to do an Eastern dragon with a creepy portrait. But you can do ink on top of watercolor with these pens without the pens getting gummed up. So I am not linking every single product I used. It's just too many. If you are curious about the very specific product to the portrait, you can go on my Instagram, and I hashtagged all the products I used with each picture I uploaded it, and I uploaded all of these. This is a black-backed jackal. There's no way I'd memorize that. It's too stylized. This is a lot of Tombow pen and fine liner. Tombow pen. Isograph refill. So here's where I refilled it. Here's a cat. And trying to do negative space whiskers is way more time consuming than it looks. I don't know why. And here I'm just working on my doodles. So this is going to become a really good doodle reference book. Stipple portrait, just little dots, and how you concentrate them to make a face appear. Tombow, and then the Uniball Signo. This is a Great Dane. Beautiful large dog. I don't know what pen. This is the Isograph. I can feel it. Hands. Hands are hard. I need more practice. This is an African elephant. There are many types of elephants. A lot of them are endangered. So, yes. Things to know. Colored pencil portrait. Yep. She looks surprised. Okay, this is a ring-tailed cat. And you kind of lose what some of the animals are when they're monochromatic in ink, and that is something to think about when you're doing illustrations. If you're really trying to make it crystal clear what you're drawing, adding color helps. Doing what I didn't do helps. This is the Pentel brush pen in pink, and I had some black still in the pen, so it came out this really pretty rose color. Pelican with some pilot, might be clematis in the background. I don't know. Here's more Isograph with Pentel stipple. This is a sparrowhawk. So yeah, lots of Tombow there, trying to layer them. Ink portrait, very stylized, very swirly. There's metallic in the gold. Yeah. Here's a Black Panther, and I added a little bit of purple. I don't know. Some days, I don't know what to tell you. This one, I definitely did colored pencil on top of. So I have a stylized flower, which I use as a common pattern for background if I have enough time. I don't do a lot of background work. I can focus on the main subject matter, and if I'm out of time, then this gets left. And then some colored pencil overlay over the ink. I did lime green and a pink. It's a choice, as with anything. Here's a cat curled up in a ball in the lawn with lawn daisies, which grow abundantly in our backyard. Portrait. You can see why I went through so much black ink. I went through a lot. Here's a pit bull. Cute little doggo. Tombow and Pilot pen. This is the Isograph, my technical pen with Uniball Signo on top, and you can kind of see the metallic a little bit. The stipple, a lot in the early. So here's a goat, and then I did silver flowers. You can kind of see. Silver's really hard on ivory paper. It just doesn't have the pop like gold does. Gold definitely sits on ivory better, and it, you know, they're harmonious. Here's a hippo. I like hippos too. I like all the, what do they call them? Pachyderm? The elephant, rhino, hippo, they all have sort of like a similar type skin thing. Okay, portrait. And then you decide composition. What's the most important thing? One eye, two eyes? What part of the face do you show? Here's an avocet. My Pentel sign pen. All gold. All gold, all shiny. Again, negative space and looking at shape and form. Birds. So these are watercolor pencil with Uniball Signo Gold. I don't have a lot of watercolor in here. I don't have a lot of watercolor pencil. I heavily leaned into my ink, and that's what this is. Lots of ink. We are only in March. Gorilla baby. Oh, I love gorillas. Okay, sorry. I love animals. It's like a thing. It's a thing. I love them all so much. So this is a spider monkey, and this is the Contea Paris, and this has been sprayed, but it's still transferring. So you can do really dry media on the Tomoe River. You can do charcoal, you can do pastel. Just know that spraying and spraying and spraying, there might still be a lot of transfer. So I tried other mediums. These aren't my favorite mediums from here. This product is really scratchy in general, and on this paper it's even more noticeable, and it just sounds, ugh, it gives me chills. What are you? You are ink with, I don't know, maybe, oh, it's lifting. So I would say pastels. Something really dry. Something popping up. So I tried, and you can see it transfers a lot. Orangutan, I refilled my pen again. Lots of notes. I mean, it depends on what you want to denote in your book. Again, by March, I realized that the book was not going to happen. There was just too much going on, and this was supposed to be here, and this was supposed to be book notes. So this just became my year-round sketchbook by March. So, yeah, orangutan. Stylized portrait. This is the Emperor Tamarin, and again, negative spacing the hairs and the furs takes a while, and sometimes I have the patience, and sometimes I do not. So this is lots and lots of ink. A new GNU, and a gold background again. Not a lot of backgrounds here. Not a lot. Aguati? I don't know. A little rodent. A little cute little guy. Tombow, Uniball Signo. Here's a portrait with the hands when you're tired and you get one of those headaches, you know, right at the bridge of your nose. Yeah, same. Same. And I drew it. Here's a short-eared owl. You have no way of knowing that with the style I chose to do with the ink, but that's okay. Another portrait, lots of gold. This is a glass frog. And I seriously do not do enough reptiles or amphibians, and I need to. I need to make that a priority. Yep, so I'm gonna have to build that into my 2025 somewhere. A Mastiff. We own a Mastiff. She is a quarter Cane Corso, which is the Italian Mastiff. She's a big baby. Tombo, all the tired, all the tired. Here's the cat. And I kind of opted for the triangle background. Portrait, still working on hands and trying to figure out shape with negative space. Flamingo, lots of ink. You can kind of see the gold outlines. Again, some of this is going to be lost because it's on screen, but you know, we're just doing our best. Portrait, I don't do a lot of dudes. I decided a while ago that there was enough dude art, male art, and just go with more lady representation and yeah, non-binary representation. It was a choice, and that was one I made. Nutria, which is a large rodent, and it's I don't know what he's contemplating, but run. This is a Fudabiori green metallic, and I killed this pen this year. I used it all up. It was a one-off from an art subscription box. It wasn't necessary, but it's interesting. Giraffe, I think this is my Harvey LePlume, which is a water-soluble pen. A very streaky portrait with a hand. I think I was cold. I can kind of tell my mood in some of these. This is a Binturong. I don't know. I try to do animals from around everywhere and animals I've never heard of because I've drawn a lot of cats and a lot of tigers. And there are a lot of cats and a lot of tigers in this book. But yeah. Rhino. Oh, I love rhinos so much. Like in my top 10 favorite animals, which I cannot organize by favorites, rhinos in there for sure. 100% every time. Here's a Coatmundi in gold. Again, can you tell the animal if it's monochromatic? And I did a stylized version. Doing a stylized version for me is quicker than hyper-realism. So some of these days I can tell how much time I had. Okay, this is, oh gosh, Marvy. It's the Marvy LePlume 2 Peacock Green with the Schminke Gold Hudrum Aquarelle on top. Yeah. I went through that whole pan of gold this year. I used it all up. Colored pencil. This is the Black-Footed Ferret. This is the Luminance. This is the Carmine Lake. Ooh, I'm trying to remember. Yeah. So here's another stipple portrait with lime green and pink in it. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. This is a Red Fox. And I couldn't tell you the ink I used. This might be a Copic multiliner with gold on top. Gold watercolor. Again, if you look at my Instagram, I put a photo for every single day for accountability. It's sort of my daily vlog and photo. Yeah. Or blog, however you want to call it out. Tombo. Working on hands. Quokka, which is supposed to be the happiest animal on the planet. I don't know. I'm not throwing up photos with every single animal. This was a fail. It didn't work. I don't know what I was doing. But not everything you do is a success, and sometimes you learn more from your mistakes. Yeah, I don't even know. I didn't like it. It looks very much like somebody played in makeup, but I mean, that could work too, I guess. Bearcat. Are you familiar with the Bearcat? This is a Micron in sepia. Joy. Black ink with gold stipple on top. Just pure joy. Here is a Cayuga duck, and I negative space, so you don't really get the top of the bill. But again, this is my Rotring technical pen. And here's that Fudabiori again, the green metallic. So somebody in nature, And you can really, what I don't do is line up eyes, and I don't know why, I just don't. But if you are into graph and drawing on graph, you might as well use the graph to line things and angle things up, especially with portraits and stuff. I just never do it. I think there's only one in here where I made sure everything was specifically lined up. Flying squirrel. Look at the cute face. And then I did some art journaling. So I did a portrait and then I wrote what I did for the day on top. And this one is gold. So it's probably just about gardening and stuff. It's innocuous. It's not really super personal things. It's not about the kids. It's not about anything like that. Here's a sloth bear. An indigo colored pencil. Yeah. Sloth bear. He looks so sad. Here's black with gold on top. I did a lot of that this year. I'm layering those two colors together. This is a 13-lined ground squirrel. And you can see the silver. It really, from certain angles, it gets lost on the page. And this is ink. Another portrait. I think this is Posca on top. White Posca. I don't have a lot of Posca pens anymore. I used a few of them up. Red Panda. I don't have a lot that are horizontal orientation. I try to keep it mostly vertical. But, you know, you get bored. You get a little bored. So this is ink colored pencil. This is my favorite. This is my favorite portrait out of this whole thing. And you're like, why? And I'm like, I don't know. It's just absolutely my favorite. It's ink, it's watercolor on top. She just looks so happy and it's like a party or something. It's just like her joy is radiating out from her. And yeah, this is my favorite portrait. I did it in April. It's downhill from there. Camel, ink on ink. This is Pilot pen. So this is Uniball Signo in silver on top of, oh my lord, it feels like acrylic. I have acrylic paint in here. I totally forgot. You can feel, I can feel the texture in here. You can kind of see it. Yeah, see you later, alligator. I tried to do a stylized alligator, didn't like it, so I added text. Does that distract you enough from the horrible drawing if I add a textural element? I hope so. Lots of ink. Oh, so angry. Sometimes we're angry. Alpaca. So if you're curious between, let me just go back once. This is the Uniball Signo Gold. This is the Pilot pen gold. Can you see the different gold? This is much sort of brassier. It's deeper. This is a lighter gold. Yeah, Pilot pen gold of the alpaca. In case you're curious of comparing golds. But when I run out, and then, you know, I gotta use what I have. This is, I refilled the pen again. This is an Argentine horned frog with a little bit of gold, a little bit of pink, and a lot of black line. Okay, here's one where I lined it up to make sure it was right on the money. So I have realistic eyes and then like stylized everything else. And this is colored pencil. Like it was a choice. And again, it looks fine like this, but when you start to lift it, you really start to see my doodles from the other page. So in using both sides, I really can't scan these because of the grid and because of the bleed through. Like it's just too much cleanup. Here's American Bulldog, silver and blue ink. Here's another portrait. This is watercolor with, this is all watercolor. This whole thing might be watercolor. I don't know at which point I ran out of watercolor and I switched to gold gouache, really thinned out. Oh, we're still with the watercolor. So this is a phoenix, and this was a request by my youngest daughter. So she said, Mama, draw me a phoenix. And I said, all right. But look at the bleed through. Once you add water on some of these inks, and this is Pilot pen in the background, the red, it really bleeds through. So I have notes later on in this book that talk about the different things that bleed through. So we have silver ink on top of black. Here is some granulating watercolor of a gorilla. Did not do enough watercolor. This is 3 different things. So I really wanted to see how waterproof the Wrought Ring Isograph ink was. So I laid that down and then I put a layer of either this or the Tombow. One of them. I have 2 that are almost the same color. No joke. And they're both water soluble, so it doesn't really matter. And then I put gold on top of it. So it's layer of water and a color and layer of another color with water. And that ink didn't move for anything, which is awesome. It's good to know. Lion. Rawr. Pentel brush pen and some silver. That brush pen makes stuff super quick. So on days where I didn't have enough time, I pulled out a brush pen. For sure. Here's a reindeer. Not a lot of horned antlered things in here. And I have a couple different silvers. This is like the deco color, but it was dying and I had to put the ink on a different surface and then tap it in. Hold on, folks just came home. Sorry about that. They were out walking the doggo. Yeah, a couple different silvers, but this pen kept pooling ink and it would puddle out. So I put it on a different sketchbook and tapped some in. And then I was like, it's time to get rid of it. It's a mess. Yep. Can you see the silver sparkle? I don't know. Some of this, I got more heavy-handed a little bit than I normally would in person because it shows up better in camera, in photographs. And that's a choice. Like what you're pandering to, like your own imagination, what you see, what you're showing other people. And this was an experiment. It'd probably look way better from a distance. Yes, so bird. Oh, this is lots of mediums. Definitely mixed media. I don't know what the black is. The black is a paint. I don't think I have black acrylic paint. Maybe I do. Yeah, I don't know. I would have to look in my Instagram to tell you all the different mediums, but there's a silver outline for sure. And Tombow with silver. Oh, this is Tombow with a Futobiori on top. So green on green. Looks kind of cool. Cat. Can you see the cat face? Lots and lots of layers of different inks with gold watercolor on top. So this is a Tombow. Tombows are water soluble, and then I added gold watercolor on top. Looks way better in person than it does on film. Gray Wolf, lots and lots of inks. Throw in some pink there to make it interesting. Kind of worked. This is an ink portrait, and then I did just a stripe of light blue watercolor with some gold. Can you see that? Just to make it kind of interesting. Tiger. Arr. Watercolor. This is watercolor with watercolor. Yep, this is all Schminke. Okay. And here's a leopard with a couple different inks. This is Pilot for sure. I think this is Black Tombow. This is the Pentel sign pen. So that is the same thing. Hold on, I'll find it. You're like, what is the point of this? I don't know. The point is, if some of your pens are water soluble and do weird things with water, try them out with water and see if you like it. I don't know if I can find it. Too many drawings. Okay, so here it is without water. It's just a flat, warm yellow. And here it is with water. So it kind of gives it that aged kind of look. I thought it was interesting, just adding water to it. So it's worth a try if you want to mess around with your pens and see which ones can act more watercolor-ish. But keep in mind the bleeding when you add the water. So here's some gold vultures with Pilot pen. This whole thing's Pilot pen. Here's Tombow with gold. Yeah. Shiny. Hyena. And it's so close to the face, it's hard to tell that's a hyena. Watercolor indigo portrait. And it's still like you can see some of the gum arabic, I think, is separating out of some of this. That's okay. This, okay, is a Serena. It's a type of bird. I don't think this was a success. I like the watercolor portion, but then I did an ink background and I don't like it. So, yeah, preference. This is Ferris Wheel Press. This is the maple ink, I don't know, and it is a glittery ink, but you have to constantly stir and rotate to get the glitter up in there, and I just brushed this on with a paintbrush. So this is a brown hair, and this is with the Ferris Wheel Press. This is the Riveting Pond. It is a blue, and then I added an indigo colored pencil on top. So mixed media. And this looks like watercolor with gold watercolor on top. Ow! Lots and lots of gold. But again, I like the gold on the ivory. This is the purple. You're like, yeah, it is. I don't know. Gore. Yeah, it's one of the purples I have in a tube. And it has such a huge color range. I like it. All right, so blue poison dart frog, yes. This is watercolor. You can kind of see. And I made some animal notes. Portrait, here's gouache. The gouache is really, really brassy. It's fine. I mean, it's the gold I have left. So here's a Maasai giraffe. This is a glass dip pen with the Ferris Wheel Press maple. And the maple is the lightest brown I own. I really like that color. Looks like a faded brown pen. So here's gouache. Little blue fairy penguin. This is the smallest penguin out of all the penguins, and I cut the beak off. Yeah, my composition wasn't the strongest on this watercolor. Here is another art journal. So I did a portrait and then I wrote my day on top. Here's a copper I created. So it's like burnt sienna with gold watercolor. And then I did the isograph snake on top. This is a copperhead with some floral element. I don't know which flower that is, sorry. It's in my notes on Instagram if you're super curious. Here's ink, and I just did an ink color stripe. My cats are running around. Here's a trout. Again, I don't do enough fish. This is ink with a little colored pencil. It's a portrait with multiple inks. So this is a Winsor Newton drawing ink and the Ferris Wheel Press ink. And you can kind of see, like, the lips are really shiny. And that's some of the shine and sparkle in that ink. But the whole thing isn't shiny because you have to shake it every time you go to apply it. Yeah, here's an ostrich. Sorry, I have cats. No. Yeah. Fun facial expressions. So this is the Pentel sign pen with water again, and then a little bit of gold on top. Just a little bit eye shine. Okay. Slow Loris. I did multiple of these because, yeah. And I have bleed through from another page. Yeah. Which is Tombow with gold. And she's making a funny face. Kissy face. Here's a Slow Loris in color. So, again, like how you choose. And it's not the full thing, obviously. It's just the face. I ran out of time. They have such cool eyes. Big, beautiful eyeballs. Yeah, and I sprayed and I still got transfer. So this is Conte Paris of a portrait to the best of my ability. German Shepherd. That's such a sweet dog. Lots of ink. Pentel brush pen. This is a Colugo. I'm not familiar. So again, drawing things I've never drawn before, and I have to build challenges within a challenge. So doing a 365-day challenge. I did that also in 2023. I did the Stology 365. I did it one-sided, so I used 2 of their 365 books and drew with the same paper every day for 1 year. So doing it again, drawing every day for 1 year with the same paper isn't the challenge. Finding new animals to draw that I've never drawn is a challenge. Watercolor. This is a borzoi. And they have a great snoot. This is a lot of ink. And then sign the brush pen. But again, I have transfer from other pages, so it is what it is. Lots of ink with watercolor. Oh, stress headache. Yeah, I think this is Neocolor 2 with a gold watercolor and then silver ink and black ink for the koi fish. That's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. And it got all the bleed through. So we just embraced it and kept drawing with Pilot Pen. She's like, what happened? Sorry. Muntjac. Ink, colored pencil. Yeah, that's colored pencil. See the shine? That's a polychromos. Yep. Pentel sign pen. Panda. Colored pencil. More Tombow. I know. Like, when does it end? It never ends. It just keeps going. This is a Dimiad Safica Lemur. I didn't say that right, and I apologize. But I tried. So lots of ink. Here is a spotted wood owl with gouache. Just a lot of gouache. And a lot of inks here. Making a face. Rabbit. Both Pilot pens. Portrait. I don't do enough orange. Like, I can say that right now. I do not do enough orange. I don't do enough red. Like, that has to be a cognizant effort on my part. But you can see the Pilot coming through of that. The pink Pilot is a tough one. Without adding any water or anything on top. It's, yeah. Yep. This is a Hermit Thrush. And this is the Ferris Wheel Press Maple. Again, I did not shake it. There is no shine. There is no glitter. I just really, really like. It reminds me of like sepia photographs. This ink. I don't know. I'm attached. And here is the Ferris Wheel Press. And I did shake it. So the Riveting Pond has a couple different color glitters in it. Like, one's a warm pink and one's kind of a goldish. Yeah, it has a couple glitters. Yeah, and this is sort of lost on the screen, but that's okay. Tiger, unique colors, watercolor, and then a little bit of silver ink on top. May the force be with you. Lots of ink. Tapir. And then I just did sort of stars for the background. Is a choice. Okay, this is probably one of the only charcoals in here. This is a charcoal portrait. And again, you can see the transfer. It just, even spraying it multiple times and outside, because I don't spray that stuff inside. That stuff reeks. But I tried. You can do it, like I said, but maybe put like a vellum sheet or a protector thing if you don't want it to come off on the other page. You'll have to protect it better than I have. Golden Eagle. This is a couple different inks. This is watercolor, I think. I don't know. It's really transferred. I couldn't tell you. I want to, but I can't. She was making a face. Here's the Diamonded Safica Lemur, again, in color. So, again, you can see the difference when I do something monochromatically versus in color, trying to show people an animal maybe they're not familiar with. You get more information with the color. Are those eyes dynamic? Okay, I really like, I have a thing with eyes. Okay, watercolor for sure. Yep. having a great hat day or flowers. This is a muskrat, and I did the lettering inside the, here's the eye, here's the whiskers. It was a choice. We're just embracing the weird on this one. Pentel sign pen. So this is a day where I had like 20 minutes to do art, and that was it. Like, so quick. Ow. And I couldn't tell you which one, and I apologize for that. Here's a vervet monkey, and this is Tombow with water. So it does give a little watercolor quality to it. It's fun. Here's more of my Rot Ring ink. Red Panda. Can you tell? Yeah, I chose purple and black for this, so it's kind of hard to tell. Here's black with a little bit of Pilot Pen gold stippled on there. I'm getting the side eye. Okay, so this is the Mary Moo Potter's Pink. This is a wood duck. This is highly granulating. I had some left in my palette, so I threw it up on a page. Gold gouache. And it really thickened up the paper. So if you're doing a lot of acrylic or gouache in this book, it is going to expand it a bit, like adding ephemera and stickers and washi tape and post-its and photographs, whatever you choose to put in there. The thicker the paint, the more this guy gets thick in general. This is an Asian palm civet. Yeah. Any direction's fine on that one. Watercolor pencil. And the water had glitter in it from whatever water thing I used. So it's sparkly, which is fine. Elephant. This is the Riveting Pond Ferris Wheel Press. Oh, I love elephants. Ferris Wheel Press. This is that maple color. Lar Gibbon. Can you tell? It looked fine till I added water, and then it didn't. So this one was not a success in my mind. Purple Tombow. A marmot. This is watercolor. Again, the Fudabiori metallic green for a portrait. You can see the pen starting to die. This is an Azores bullfinch. So I stippled the negative space to like negative space the bird, kind of. It was a choice. It is a very ovoid shaped bird. I don't know. Yeah, it's fun. It's fine. So Pilot Pen gold and fingers. Yeah. Weird. Okay, so this is a pelican, and these are some mushrooms, and I watercolored all this, and then I went around with a colored pencil, my Caran d'Ache malachite green, and it looks weird. It looks like it's a sticker or something. I don't know. It looks strange. I'm here for it. It's just very unique. Yeah. Pentel sign pen with gold gouache, so stick a finger in the eye. Yeah, allergies. This is a green cheeked Kauras. I'm not pronouncing that right, and I'm sorry. It's like a parrot of some type. This is all watercolor. Such a cute little guy. Birds are awesome. Tombow with gold. Yeah. Dormouse. So this is all watercolor, and he's just hanging on. Again, there's like transfer with some of this stuff. Pilot pen. She's looking at you. Okay. You can see the transfer. This is pastel. So these are soft pastels, and then I have a little bit of gold background context of leaves. And I did spray this. I swear I sprayed this a ton, and it's not staying. So again, you'll have to think about transfer with your dry media if you choose to go this route. Yeah, okay. Watercolor with ink on top. It's like gold, kind of. Yep, a vermilion flycatcher. So this is colored pencil ink. Ink for the black, ink for the gold, and this is the colored pencil portion, the polychromos. Watercolor portrait with whatever I had in one of my wells of my palette. So it looks like I had some green and some brown, and I went heavy together. Pitbull. Oh, sad puppers. Okay. And there's a lot of watercolor here. This is ink with a watercolor wash on top with the negative space hands. Again, trying to figure out hands and fingers. It's a choice. Here's a Corsic fox. It's just black ink. Gold gouache portrait. Ooh, you really can't see it when it's like that, can you? I'm sorry. And it's really thick. Like the page has gotten super thick. This is a Paulus monkey. Yep. Okay. It's a Tombow with water. A little guy. Here's a Tombow. This is like the cherry something something. I don't know. Just sort of stippling a portrait here. Oh, with the eyes closed. Here's a toucan. So here's a toucan. It's colored pencil, and then you can see the gold ink floral background. With the pressure of doing the doodle, I have transfer from colored pencil onto the page. So in theory, you could also spray your colored pencils as well. Again, I didn't spray much in this book, and that was a choice. Pentel brush pen. Watercolor cat. Ah. Poor cat. Okay. Green with gold. It's ink with watercolor. And this is one way to do a background. Sort of, again, her face really pops. And then the hair really pops. So you think about negative space like that. It's a choice. The Vision Spotted Deer. It looks like a cow. I said it so you didn't have to. Pilot pen, colored pencil. Okay, I apologize for jump cuts. I'm getting phone calls and timers are going off. It's chaos. Okay, this is the Itoya. This is a black calligraphy pen. If I can find it. I don't even know if you can still buy these. It is a flat-tipped brush pen, but I've been drawing with it, even though it's like a chisel nib, which makes it awkward because the black is so black. Like, it's such a strong black color. I love it. Okay, enough of that nonsense. Lace and Duck. So watercolor with gold, but it's really pale. Really pale. And you can see, like, moving this around, like if you want to choose to make this whole thing horizontal or make the whole thing vertical. It's up to you. Watercolor, portrait with lots of botanicals. Here's a Spinosaurus. So this is the isograph ink here, the rot ring. I love dinosaurs. Micron sepia. Again, negative spacing the hands. I can't with hands. I can't. I'll keep trying. Here's a rabbit. Here's that Ferris wheel press maple ink. It's such a pretty ink. Okay. Here's the Ferris wheel press riveting pond. And again, I really like it brushed on, but it is really hard to get an even application of the ink because of all the glitters and things in there. So keep that in mind. It's going to be not smooth sailing when you brush it on. Here's a couple bluebirds. This is all metallic ink. Yep. Oh, this feels like, oh, you know what this is? This is the Derwent graphite block. And I'm like, why is that coming off? I sprayed this and there's still transfer. the graphite block. So the graphite blocks are huge, and I bought them and I'm like, this is great, but I work small. Like this is an A6 and I work in, the largest I work is A4. So what I do is I wet a paintbrush on the huge stick and then I control it with a paintbrush. So I can do fine, smaller work with a huge stick art supply by controlling it with water and using it that way. This is Tombow gold watercolor and isograph ink. And this is a gray heron, and I elongated the neck and gave it a moon. Gave it really knobby knees. Like I just stylized the heck out of it. Watercolor portrait. So she's turning into air, I think. This is a chicken. You're like, is it though? I don't know. It's, oh gosh. There's like watercolor pencil in here and watercolor. It's a mess. This is watercolor. Should make it a face. Okay, this is one of the only ones that has ephemera. And there's like a Post-it and just a piece of washi tape. And I was having a burnout. When is this? This is September 10th and super burnout. And I just added some stuff and drew tigers all over it. So that is how I combated burnout. I added some stuff in a collage fashion. Tombow with watercolor. You can see the gold. And then there's Posca dots. So it's a puffin. How can you tell? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. Okay, here's another art journal. So gouache with Pilot ink for it. Watercolor horse. I don't do enough like equine horse things. I really should. Okay. You can see this at this angle. This is a silver Pilot pen, but like this is how it photographs. So yeah, stuff gets lost with silver on this page. So keep in mind if you're going to create on like Ivory Tomoe River that it's really hard to get folks to see it. Here's a seal. Watercolor, I think. Here's Tombow with silver watercolor on top for this portrait. Oh, my cat is chasing a fuzzy little ball. Pilot pen, here's another seal. The portrait with some shadow and lace. This is ink. Lots and lots of ink. This is an Eastern box turtle. This is Pentel brush pen. There's the eyes. I swear this is a turtle. Here's the shell. Like some of those, I don't know that it shows up right. When you go to like try and figure out how to utilize your space with certain shapes, you have to decide the composition and where to crop stuff. And sometimes you really lose what you're trying to draw. This one didn't work. Yeah, this is ink with a silver watercolor on top and it just fell apart. This is supposed to be shadow from like mini blinds or something that are in the window. Didn't work. That's okay. Orange Pilot pen. Cats. I was living my best MC Escher life. Pilot pen. This is like a really light green. It's a fun color. I dig that color. Can you see him in here? This is a schnauzer. Keep in mind there's all these doodles on this page. I'm not even talking about all those. Yeah, this is watercolor on ink. It's with more ink on top. This is a micron sepia, and the strokes, filling in the strokes can be very meditative, just filling in a space with a really tiny fine liner. Yeah. Tiger, lots and lots and lots of watercolor, and I don't think you're getting all, this whole thing is like coated with gold sparkle. Can you kind of see that? But it's a tiger. Yeah. I don't know where that came from. Pilot pen. Here's the hand. All right, we have a leopard. This is watercolor again with a little bit of gold wash on top. Oh, and that's a cat. This is another one that fell apart. Sorry. Are you done? Okay, I think she's done. Nope. Okay, here's another one that sort of fell apart. This is Tombow with silver, and then there's white gouache. I tried to clean it up. It didn't work. Again, not all these are going to be a success, but I learned some things. Big pilot pen of a tiger. Up close. I love tigers. But this, I mean, this easily could be any cat up close with just the huge nose. Here's another one that's silver. A silver pilot pen, and then it just sort of breaks apart. Yeah. She's just laughing, having a great time. There's an ocelot watercolor. Ink with ink. This is silver on top. So she is expanding into the universe. Pentel brush pen. We have a little bit, I don't do a lot of anatomy. I should do more of that. I just don't. Here's another ocelot. And this is watercolor. A little bit of gold on top. So this was a red. And then I added gold, and it looks very coppery on film, which is fine. Here's Tombow with water. And a little bit of, I don't know whether silver sparkle. That could have been in my water. I like the Tombow looking like a watercolor. I like it, and it gets rid of the streaks because I'm just not good with pens that are felt tip like that. Here's an Amazon milk frog, black ink with gold gouache. Tombow with water, portrait. I hope these pages aren't stuck together. Oh, I did a couple portraits in a row. Lots and lots of ink with gouache. And again, this gouache has a little bit of texture, so it's sort of puffing up this book a little bit. Gold. Here's a mouse. Pilot pen. Here's another art journal. This is, it looks like a Tombow with water with pilot pen on top. Yeah. Caracal. And this looks like watercolor pencil. That's what it looks like. I'd have to double check that with my Instagram. I don't know. Ink with water with pilot pen. And this is probably the Marvy Le Plume, I'm guessing. Those colors are fun together. Pilot pen Caracal. Oh, lots of big cats. With the nose. Pilot with gouache. And so she's contemplating, and there's sparkles. But again, the red ghosts heavily. Black ink with silver gouache. Do have it in more than one color. This is a Searle. He looks mad. Yeah, so ink with watercolor with more ink. Yeah, so there's some little explosions of pilot gold on here with the silver watercolor. Yeah, but it's kind of hard to see. Anyway, she has flowers in her hair. Lion, burgundy pilot pen. Here is a Tombow with silver on top. And she is amazing. This is a reference photo I found on Pinterest, and I loved her expression, I loved her jewelry, I love her glasses. I just love everything about her. If you want to go out to lunch, lovely lady, I will take you out to lunch. She's amazing. Cat, watercolor with sparkle in the water. Again, this is probably just particles from the gouache that's stuck to my cup. Here's where, oh, I got mad at the grid. Like, I'm mad at it. Like, I'm burned out. I'm at October 10th, and I'm so tired of there being a grid that I decided to lean into the grid and pilot pen the grid and make it more obvious on top of this watercolor portrait. Yep. Cat. When you receive bad news over the phone, and then you're like, oh, it's time to draw. That's what that looks like. There's another one I don't think worked. Yeah, it's ink. There's watercolor on top, and then it's 2 different inks. So when I added the water, it really washed it away, and so she looks more clownish, and that was not my intent. Again, I'm leaning into the grid squares. Orange Pilot pen. So here's a dog dreaming of a cat. Yeah, same. Okay, more Pilot pen. Hair's fun. Hair is so much fun. Cheese and dog. Cheese. Okay. Yeah. The Pentel sign pen. Inky, inky ink. Lots of ink. Lots of trying to figure out hands and no. It's okay. Here's a deer. This was somebody's, and I'm not giving them credit. I'm not doing it. It was their AI art. So it's something that they created from somebody else's art, and I turned it back into original art. So I am not crediting anyone for anything except that I made AI art again. I was in a mood. So here we have sepia micron with gold gouache. And she sparkles. Pentel brush pen, cat. I don't have a lot of different breeds of cats. They get lost when it's monochromatic. Here's another one, like silver. And I try to get the hand and some of the clothes and the shoulder. Here's a humpback whale, so colored pencil with gold ink. And the floral background motif. Sepia micron of a double portrait of 2 people. Looking a little freaked out. Here's a baby lion cub. Pilot pen. Here is that Itoya calligraphy pen with gold gouache. Portrait. She's doing the side eye too. I don't need both eyes in a portrait. That's like not something I need. Here's another lion cub, and it's Tombow with watercolor on top. Rawr. Here's watercolor with gold ink. You can kind of see some of the gold ink here. This is a Temenix Treapan pheasant. So I think this is like a Chinese pheasant or something. Yeah, colored pencil. So this one took a couple hours. She's making a face. Pilot pen. Faces are fun. Like people making silly faces. That's a lot of fun. That's a good exercise. If you're working on portraiture and your stuff's looking a little bored or boring to you when it's just like it's not 3/4 angle, it's not profile, it's just face on, try doing some funny faces and rolling the eyes around. Bird. I couldn't tell you what bird this is. I stylized it too much. Roar. My birds don't tweet. They roar. So yeah, a lot of colored pencil. Here's Tombow and Pilot, and then again the floral background, and she is reading or writing. She's having a good time. I've decided for her. A dog hiding in blankets. Portrait, 2 different color green inks. Yep. Red Pilot. He looks not amused by the situation, dog, and so I'm negative spacing the color and we're losing some of the bits. It makes it interesting. I don't know. Sepia micron pen. This is, it's either the Tombow or the Marvy La Plume, and this is a cat with gold gouache. You see the sparkle? He kind of sparkles. He's sleeping and happy. So yeah, 2 different inks. The Pentel sign pen with a micron on top. She just made a face. Okay, this is watercolor. This is 2 cats. So they're a sleeping cat on a regular cat. And then I gold, I don't know if you can see this. There's like flowers. Oh, shoots. I don't think you can see it. That's okay. Just know that there's flowers everywhere. Does that make you feel better? Lots of watercolor, and then there's red red ink, and the red shines gold because of the different layers of things. I don't know. Bear, this is watercolor pencil, and then there's silver ink flowers. And the bear really doesn't, this is a really pale blue. This is the Museum Aquarelle by Karen Dosh, and it's a really soft, fun watercolor pencil to work with. But boy, does it not show up on camera. There's the Rot Ring Isograph. Portraits are fun. This is Neocolor 2 in the background, and then I did Isograph on top with a little bit of gold. And this is a Spangled Katinga. So I sort of reversed it, but I used up a whole pan. I had sharpened a couple Neocolor 2s and then left the shavings in a watercolor pan, and I used it all up. I mixed them together. It was a blue and green I mixed together. A Toya calligraphy pen. I just like that black. It's so dark. Ocelot and Tombow with gouache. And this is watercolor with gold overlay of inks and things. I can't tell you. I think it's gouache really thinned out, the gold gouache, and then some of it looks like I maybe did some gold. It's tough to say. Watercolor. This is a watercolor dog. My cutie. Always talk to your pictures. Watercolor and then gold flower backgrounds. You see, I need background help. I do. I need background help. Here's a sleepy kitty pilot pen. Here are a couple different inks. These are both colors of pilot pen. This is a Pelican, and it's Pentel Sign Pen with colored pencil with really thin gold gouache and pilot pen here. So it's 4 different things. This is very mixed media. It's fun. A lot of fun. So this is a portrait, but this is a Jardin's parrot isograph. And do you follow the grids for your eyes? I do not. People aren't perfectly symmetrical. That's my excuse. German Shepherd. Pentel brush pen with gouache. If people aren't perfectly symmetrical, I refuse to draw them as such. Beauty is subjective. Tombow with 2 different pilot pens. So there's a gold and a red. Here are 2 pilot pens. These are Cougars. It's the green and the gold. You can see the background. I had time apparently. The Ferris wheel press ribboning pond with a little bit of pilot pen stipple on top. This is a spotted Perdelote. I don't know. It's watercolor with gold. You are officially renamed watercolor with gold. I apologize. So Tombow with gold overlay. And this could be gouache, this could be watercolor. I can't tell. We're in December, so we're almost done, I promise. This is a cheetah. And I cut off the nose, but I got the whiskers. I got the negative space here, so it's just ink. There's no pen helping me out or anything. Very stylized. This is gold gouache with silver. I think this was silver Posca that I used up completely. Here's an owl, and this looks like a Tombow with a little bit of gold in here. I'm not sure. I'd have to check Instagram. Pilot pen. Iguana. This is Tombow with pilot gold ink, and it just has gold all over him. Scribble, scribble. These are pastels, and I really like it better this way, and I can't tell you why. But there's definitely transfer with the pastels, and then 1 colored pencil. Because my pastel set's a landscape set, I don't have the colors I need, but we make it work. So, pastel portrait. Our power went out for a day and a half, and this is my brother's cat. So this is the Itoya with a little bit of Posca, and this is what I drew by candlelight. So there's that. Dahlia. Portrait, and this is gold ink and blue ink. She is regretting life choices, apparently. Okay, this is another one. Like, how do you... This is a cat. It's in silver. And it looks kind of fine from that angle, but I photographed it like this, so... Again, silver on ivory is tough. But I'm not giving it up. Pentel brush pen with a little bit of silver stipple on... No, that's gold. I can't tell. It's a metallic on top, stippled. Happy dog with lots of stars, metallic golds and silvers in the background. And this was, oh god, I hate this pen. It's holding a Lego. This is the art blocks. But I love this color. It's very Prussian green, but it's horrible to hold. Yeah, so this portrait is two-toned. This is the Rotring Isograph ink, and then this is the Aquamarine Pink. This is the Caran d'Ache Luminance colored pencil. So yeah, I thought that'd be fun. Spicing it up. A lion, but it really lost. Once I added the water to the pen and ink, I really lost. And so I stippled a lot of silver on there. I made them sparkle and just leaned into the weird. Again, calligraphy pen. Itoya. And working on negative space and trying to do glasses, and yeah. Colored pencil, tiger's eye. I love eyes. But as this took, I think this took 90 minutes. I just didn't have time to keep expanding. I ran out. This is colored pencil, no, sorry, watercolor gouache. And this is somebody laying in a field of plants, but I don't think you can tell. Okay, this is watercolor with a little bit of gouache. This is a dragon, and then I fine linered the Rotring. This is a lotus pond with rocks. I was like, here's his selfie. Cheese! Look, Mom, I found lotus flowers. Okay, I'm on my own page there. Tombow with silver stipple on top. And she's with all the plants too. Somebody's got to be with all the plants. Some folks just are. Oh, this was Christmas. So yeah. I want to say Posca and the Itoya. It's a little bunny. Rotring Isograph. This is a monkey. I don't know which tiny monkey that is, but this was a fun reference photo I found on Pinterest, and it's sitting on her head. And so I said, yep, that's what we're drawing today. American Kestrel. These are the colors I used. Colored pencil. This is 90% Polychromos by Faber-Castell. Portrait Indigo, Faber-Castell. Octopus, watercolor. This is the Schminke. And then there's the gold gouache on top. I love a good octopus. And then this is the Malachite Green, colored pencil, luminance, Caran d'Ache. And then this is today's, I did a seahorse watercolor with gold gouache. I was trying to do like sea leafy, I don't know, seaweed lettuce. Okay. And then there were all the doodles on the side of all the different themes of everything I decided to doodle. So this was my post-it for what bled through. I moved this around, but it could have been kept here. I turned this into a swatch page, and then I didn't swatch much. So I was layering watercolor over the Neo color with ink, and I wanted to see how thick that was. We see how thick that is. This is Copyright Design Fill 2023. So this book hasn't been out for that many years. I know the 2025 iteration has a little bit more give in the spine, I think, a little bit. Again, this is Pilot Pens, gold and silver. As you're creating, it gets hard to get the full real estate. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's okay in the beginning, but as you keep going, you're scoot over. I am over. No, scoot over more. It becomes a little bit more tough to fight. But so this is what I drew for all of 2024. And the left-hand side is nothing but Pilot Pen doodle references of everything you can possibly doodle, from furniture to clothing to items you own to hair to haircuts, like hammocks, barns, birdhouses, skulls and bones and dog faces, just anything you can possibly doodle, weapons, different things from different countries. So this essentially has become a doodle reference book, is what this is. And you can see I have 2 Post-its and 1 tiny piece of washi tape. Eventually it'll sit right, but just keep in mind that like with the gouache and the product, it got really fluffy. So let's talk about this a little bit. This is $65 US with shipping. I think it came to 69 for 768 pages. You'll have to decide if that value is worth it to you. For me, it is not, and I'm going to tell you why. Just because of the graph and the nature of things bleeding and showing through, I'm not scanning these. I'm not doing anything with these doodles, these drawings, these illustrations. I'm not doing anything with them. And to me, these are illustrations because of the time spent. So if I were to scan one, I would get the ghosting of what's behind it and the grid, which is totally fine, but I would want to get rid of that. So to scan this and clean this up would probably take me an hour, and it's just not worth it, considering that there's 366 of these. So I've done this now. I've done this challenge. I have filled one of these. I can say I've done it. I really like this PVC cover. It cleans up really nicely with warm water and gentle, I just use some gentle liquid hand soap, which is great because of the dry product. The charcoal and the different things, the pastels that run across my desk get all over this. So it cleans up great. I love the blue and brown contrast. I love Tomoe River paper. I have a full thing now of a guide of what works and doesn't work with the Sans and successor, since that's the iteration of this Tomoe River paper. You have to decide for you if this is worth it for you. So if you have a year where you know you're going to be journaling every day or writing every day or drawing every day or doodling every day or making notes every day, like whatever, your imagination is your limit on this and how you choose to use it. So if you just want to do grocery lists and like, if you want this to be your bullet journal, you could absolutely use it for that. I just think the price is high for that, considering the size. Like here's my hand, it's A6, okay? Yeah, I think I paid taxes, but not shipping, so it was $69. I don't know, maybe you can get this cheaper. Once January hits in 2025, you can go on eBay and see, I think JetPen still has this for sale. Yoseka Stationery still has these. It was a fun way to do a year, but I've done it now. I don't need to do it again. I don't need to do it again. I'm done drawing on grids and graphs, which is really funny considering like 3 of my sketchbooks that are left are half graph paper. My 2025 is going to be a riot as I fill all the sketchbooks I have remaining. But yeah, this is what I did this year. As you can see, it is a lot of ink, which is why I used up so much. Some of these I think were isograph, were probably just old black microns. I used up so many pens. My empties video, like I've never used up that many supplies for something so small in my life. But because this is 90% pens, I really went through them. This was fun. This was really long. I apologize for how long this video is. I did not realize it was going to be this long. I'll try and do a 1-minute short if I can. I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful week, and I will talk to you later. Bye.